Alright, hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get into Petr Yan versus Cory Sandhagen for the interim bantamweight belt. Of course, Aljamain Sterling is out, still recovering from that neck surgery. So the UFC set up Petr Yan versus Cory Sandhagen for the interim. Let's get into this matchup. So let's start with Petr Yan. I think one of the most impressive fighters in the UFC today. The guy is so well-rounded, so skilled. I think he has some of the best boxing you will see in mixed martial arts. He's actually a master of sport in boxing. Pretty extensive boxing background and experience. If I'm not mistaken, he has experience in sambo and wrestling. That's why he's difficult to take down. That's why his ground and pound looks so vicious. Petr Yan could pretty much do it all. Not to mention, the man is tough as nails, super mentally strong, which is arguably the most important trait, a strong mind. Champion mindset through and through. Yan has great combinations on the feet. He transitions beautifully to other techniques, from striking to grappling, pain in the butt to take down. Like I touched on, if you're on your back, Petr Yan is standing over you, it's not going to be a good night. Pretty brutal ground and pound. But the most impressive aspect to me as far as Petr Yan's skills, it's got to be that boxing. His striking is just super clean, very technical, no flaws. Pretty much does everything correctly. Big fan of Petr Yan's striking. Moving on to Cory Sandhagen. Cory Sandhagen is a fun, dynamic fighter. This guy is also very dangerous on the feet. He can be technical. He's creative, takes chances, tough himself. I think Cory Sandhagen is definitely a game fighter. Likes to challenge himself, rise to the occasion. He has been working on his ground game. I think he was driven to improve that after his loss to Aljamain Sterling. Even though he lost his last fight to TJ Dillashaw, I thought it was a very good account of himself and a great showing. Definitely has to work on some things, like his takedown offense and the ability to pop back up. Besides that, Cory Sandhagen's looking great. This guy got potential to be the actual champ of the division. His bread and butter to me is the stand-up. He's a dangerous combination of being technical and being creative and fun. Tricky to deal with on the feet. So the matchup, guys. How could this fight possibly play out in that cage? I'm going to say I favor Petr Yan. I think overall Petr Yan is the more technical, sound, well-rounded fighter. I don't think one bit this fight's going to be a steamroll from either side. I think this is going to be a competitive matchup. I think Cory poses a lot of issues on the feet for Petr Yan. His unpredictability, his creativeness. But I always feel like, a guy who is technically sound, offensively and defensively, they usually will get ahead in the fight. If it stays standing, if it's a striking affair. Flashiness, being creative, has its place, certainly effective. But there's also something really big to be said about a guy who does everything correctly, who's defensively responsible, and that keeps it tight and clean. And that's Petr Yan. I do think he's going to edge out Cory Sandhagen on the feet. Yan could take a shot. He has a lot of power for the division. He's vicious, he's explosive, he's fast. Just excellent combinations. He's good attacking. He's good when countering. Don't see a lot of holes for Petr Yan on the feet. I think this fight's mostly going to take place standing. I don't think Cory Sandhagen can get Petr Yan on the mat. His takedown offense is too good. He's too strong. I do think if Petr Yan wants to take the fight to the floor, I think he can. And I think he can do very well against Cory Sandhagen on the mat. But for the most part, I do think he's going to remain standing. And I think Petr Yan is going to edge it out. It's just going to be his pressure, his overall technique. I give him the edge in this fight 60-40. Maybe even a little bit higher. But Cory Sandhagen is very impressive. I guess we're going to have to see what happens in this match. He certainly could win. Final pick, Petr Yan to take this fight. Do I think it's going to be a finish? Not quite sure. Maybe via decision. Cory Sandhagen's very tough. But Yan has several ways he could win. He could win via TKO, KO, submission. I can see it all happening. Anyway, guys, let me know in the comment section who takes this fight and why. If this is your first time at the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button if you like the content. Like the video, share it. That helps the channel grow. Thanks so much, guys. When this one goes down, we'll come back and talk about it. Until then, enjoy the fight. You guys take care.